This is the SAU Report, a program featuring interviews with the faculty, staff, students, and alumni of Southern Arkansas University in Magnolia.
Welcome to this edition of the SAU Report. I'm Jennifer Lewis.
And I'm Tracy Campbell. Today we're talking with Judy Post, Director of the Communications Center at SAU. Thanks for joining us, Ms. Post.
Thank you for asking me.
As head of the Communications Center, you must have plenty of knowledge of public relations and marketing. Was this your first career choice?
No, actually, when I started school, I wanted to go into elementary education. And for the first 2 years, I basically worked on courses that would go toward an Associate of Arts in elementary education.
Okay.
Where did you attend college?
I started out at a 2-year school in Alabama. The name of it was Enterprise State Junior College. I went there right out of high school. I graduated from Abilene, Texas, a high school in Abilene, Texas, and moved to Alabama and went to the 2-year school there.
What degree did you receive?
I received an AA, and as I said, I was working, as I thought then, toward going into education. And I guess I always knew I really wanted to go into education. I just didn't know it would turn out to be the career that I'm in.
How did you like living in Alabama and the weather there and the climate? Was that a nice environment to be in?
It was quite different from the weather in Abilene, Texas, but it is very similar to the weather that we do have in Magnolia. It was sort of humid and warm, and not too many seasons like we don't have here either. We have basically two seasons, a kind of a hot season and a mild, I guess, season. But the weather is basically the same. It rains probably about as much there as it does here, maybe a little bit more. But the weather was pretty much the same.
How would Enterprise compare to SAU as far as the size and enrollment?
Enterprise State had no on-campus housing facilities, no residence halls, but we did have about 2,100 students at that time, and that was way back in 1970, so that was a while back.
Did you have an on-campus job there at Enterprise?
I did. I worked as a work-study student in the public relations office, and I guess one of my mentors in school was the director of public relations, and he was a good friend and a mentor for many years before he passed away.
After you graduated with your associate's degree, what was the next big step for you?
I went on to Troy State University. I was working full-time at that time, so I was going to school part-time at night, and it took me a while to finish, but I was able to finish my degree at Troy State University in Dothan with a degree in business administration with a major in marketing.
Did your education there prepare you for the fields that you've worked in to date?
Oh, I think so. Of course, the business administration background is great for any field that you go into. And the marketing courses that I had were invaluable in the work that I do now, as well as just meeting the public. I know journalism majors, part of yours is public relations, and that's a big part. And being able to communicate with people is one of the most important things you can do in any job.
After your graduation from Troy State, what was your first job and where was it?
Well, when I graduated from there, I was working at Enterprise State Junior College in the public relations office, actually. That's where I was working full-time when I was finishing my degree. And after I graduated there, I did some other part-time work, and then they were able to hire a full-time person in the public relations office, and so I began to work there doing some of the same types of things that I did as a work-study student. I was the campus photographer, and we did our own pictures, just like we do on campus here. We developed them and printed them, and we did the news releases, and we did the campus newsletter, and all types of things like a part of what we do in the Communications Center right now.
So a lot of the things you did there, you had the same chance to jump back in and work with here at SAU.
Yes, I had a good background in that when I came here to this job.
We understand you have an award under your belt. Can you tell us about the honor you received while at Enterprise?
Well, in 1986, the college nominated me for an award. It was actually the first time this award was given. The two-year college system in Alabama was giving an award for Faculty Member of the Year, Staff Member of the Year, and I think there were a couple of other categories. And the college nominated me to be the Staff Member of the Year, and I was selected from 41 two-year schools in the state of Alabama to represent the two-year college system there as the Staff Member of the Year. And it was one of the highlights of my career.
That's a great honor.
It is. How long did you work at Enterprise?
I worked there 8 years, full-time, not counting the time that I was a work-study student.
And then where did you go after your 8 years at Enterprise?
My family moved to El Dorado, Arkansas, and when I got there, I began to look at the school there, which was then SAU El Dorado. And at that time, they didn't have really any openings in public relations or communications, which is really what I wanted. But a job came open in the financial aid office. And so I applied because when I was working at Enterprise State, being in public relations, you learn about so many different departments. And I had worked closely with the Office of Admissions and the financial aid office there. And so I had a good background and knew some of the things that you needed to know to go into financial aid. And so I applied, and they hired me to be the financial aid director at what was then SAU El Dorado and what's now South Arkansas Community College.
Is working in financial aid as tedious and difficult as we all think it may be?
Well, it has its stressful moments, just like any job that you have. There are some very busy times, and there's a lot of number crunching and different things like that. One of the best parts of the job in financial aid is being able to work with students and actually help them. There are so many students that want to go to college but just can't afford to go. We just can't afford to pay for it. And financial aid really is a wonderful benefit to students to help them go to school either with a grant or a loan or other types of assistance, work study, that's available to help them. And so it was very rewarding to work closely with the students and help them to find out the kind of aid that would benefit them the most and what they were eligible for.
What were some of your best experiences while you were at South Ark?
Well, one of the best experiences, I guess, was being able to help the students and the close relationship that you have. And I have seen many of the students that I helped before I came to SAU while I was in El Dorado, and it's really good for them to just see them and see that they're finishing their college career, and some of them are actually gone on and gotten really good jobs, and you know that you were a part of helping them in their beginnings. And another really wonderful thing was that I met my husband there, and we married, and he's just a wonderful person, and he's still at South Ark. He works there.
How long did you stay at South Ark?
I was there for 8 years as Director of Financial Aid before coming to SAU.
Okay.
I still actually live in El Dorado, and I commute back and forth every day.
How did you hear the opening here at Southern Arkansas University?
Because I was affiliated with SAU when South Ark was SAU El Dorado, I had some friends over here, and they knew my background. And when Jimmy Watson decided to retire as director of the Communications Center, it was a job that they thought I might be interested in, and so they told me about it, and I just applied and had an interview, and they hired me. So it's wonderful. I have really enjoyed my job here. It's a wonderful experience, and while I don't get to visit with students as much as I would like to, I do get to see the faculty and staff quite a bit, and I get to do a lot of different fun things, and some things that are design-oriented and creative, and those types of things are really fun when you can see a project from the beginning to the end product.
So public relations was really what you wanted to get into.
Yes, I was happy to have the opportunity to get back into public relations and communications and get out of financial aid for a while. Not that I dislike financial aid, but it's quite a bit different than the work that I do now.
When did you begin at SAU, and what are some of your job requirements at the Communications Center?
We actually have 4 areas in the Communications Center. We have a copy center that is centrally located there in the Communications Center area, and we also have satellite copiers that are located all over campus for convenience. The second area is University Editor, which we do the news releases, photographs, and on-campus newsletters and things like that. And Mark Trout is involved with that. Cindy Young is actually over the copy center. Mark Trout is over the university editor part. And then with the third section is publications, or word processing and publications, and Brian Alexis is our graphic artist in that area. And the fourth area is our website, which is an ever-growing challenge, I'll say that. Yes.
Which area keeps you the busiest?
Well, all. All the areas keep us busy. They all have a sort of a different function, but every area is very busy. Right now, we have redone all of the publications for the university, and that has been a really big job. It's been fun and exciting to see how we have developed a series of publications with the same theme, student success. That's what it's all about. Because at SAU, we would like for people to know about the success that our students have on campus, and when they get out, they're able to compete with anyone, any place in the world. And we just wanted to be able to get that message out, and so we chose student success. That's what it's all about as our theme, and so all of our publications have been using that theme and that same artwork basically throughout, and to make a consistent series. And so that has been a very big job to get all of those publications designed and ready, and they're still not all printed, but we're getting close to completing that, and then it will be time to do our transition pieces. We're hoping we can get on a 2-year cycle so that we won't have all of our publications coming due at the same time
It's
again.
a lot to put out all at once, I'm sure.
It's a tremendous amount. When you're talking about 25 or 30 different publications, and some of them as many as 24 or 30 pages long, that's a tremendous amount of design work and information to do. And of course the printing and the expense. And so we'd like to get on a 2-year cycle so that we do some publications 1 year, and the next year we do the others, and we can shift from year to year, and we won't have all of our publications coming due at the same time. And I guess another area that is ever growing is our website. It is being utilized more and more by students and the faculty. Faculty are becoming more and more dependent on that to get information to their students. They're putting information for their classes on there. And so I can see that that's one area that is really going to be ever changing and ever evolving into something that's larger and larger.
Well, the first area, let's talk about the Copy Center. Now, the Copy Center is important at the university because almost all printed material comes through there. What other services does the Copy Center provide for the university and for the campus community?
a lot of people think all we do is make copies, and that's really not all that we do. We bind booklets, we do folding, we do hole punching, we can actually do outside jobs, we make booklets and programs, we do postcards. A lot of the work that we do is for the general public. When we can work that in, of course, what we do for the students and the faculty staff is most important, but we are able to work in some jobs for the public, and we think that's just really good public relations on our part to be able to do that, because our jobs are relatively inexpensive compared to what you would have to hire someone to do for you. Most of the time people can come in and just say, I need a postcard. Can you do a postcard? And usually we're able to help them out, and they can come and prove it.
With a graphic artist, you have the capabilities of doing outstanding, things from just, travel forms all the way to, enrollment, brochures for students in high schools to see, and, all kinds of recruiting materials that, have really, I feel have spoofed up, SAU's recruiting, goals. I mean, it just seems that everybody is, everything that comes out of the university now is just so much more lively than it has over the years past.
I think the color has a lot to do with it too.
Well, thank you for that. And everything that we feel like everything that we print reflects the image of the university.
Right.
And so therefore we want the image to be one of quality. And so we at the Copy Center are very careful about checking everything that we do, because we don't want anything, whether it's a test or a program or a booklet or whatever we do, we want it to be the best quality that we can do, and so that it will reflect positively on the university and on the Communications Center.
And you employ a lot of student workers at the Communications Center, and I understand that there's been a new policy as far as students copying tests. Can you explain that policy a little bit and why it came about?
I'll be happy to. We just feel like we do have a lot of student workers, and we could not do the things that we do in the Copy Center without our student workers. They are just wonderful, and we are so pleased to have the workers that we have. If a student copies a test, another student could come up and ask them to, either not give them a copy of the test, but just maybe look at it while they were copying it and say, what kind of questions was it? Was it an essay test, or was it
peer pressure?
Right, the peer pressure.
It definitely puts them in a compromising position.
So we don't want our students to be put in under any stress like that. So all the tests are run by the full-time faculty, or the full-time staff, on our either Mark or Brian or Cindy or myself, so that students won't ever have to be placed in a position that might be uncomfortable for them.
What are some of the projects that we can see coming out of the publications area in the near future?
Well, we've got a lot of things going on. We have a new admissions guide, which we used to call the view book. Now we have an admissions guide. We also have a matching application packet that has been designed to go along with that. We have some new brochures that the Office of Admissions is using. We have school brochures that we do on what we call base stock brochure. We have stock printed off campus in color, and then we're able to run it through our copy machines, and it makes it look like it's been printed off campus, but actually we are able to make the changes on campus, and it really works out well for us, because if an instructor changes a word or wants a word changed, or we won't have to throw away 100 brochures. We can just reprint there in the Copy Center. So that's worked out really well for us. The departments are using the base stock brochure very well, and it's the colors go along with our matching graphics that we have now.
I want to go back and talk about the web page.
Okay.
That just interests me, and it's becoming just the media on the web and everything is just becoming enormous. Whose idea was the homepage, and how did it begin?
Well, we felt like that to be competitive, we needed a really nice-looking website. And we had done some things a couple of years ago. We actually got started, and during the summer last year, we hired a student to come in and actually do some design work on our website, and he did a wonderful job. Roger Hinton worked on it for us, and the design work that he did was just spectacular. And so we're very pleased with the way that our website looks, and we are always changing and adding to it, but we think that it really has a lot of information and actually is probably the most read publication that we put out. So we do want it to look really good because our international students look it up. You know, sometimes I get email from China or from somewhere overseas from an international student that maybe couldn't get through to the Director of International Studies, and so my name is, of course, on there and has where you could just click on JS Post and it'll come directly to me. And so I get mail from students asking information, and sometimes I get notes from parents or notes from alumni that might say, you know, could we add this, or that they really like the way it looks, or some of them that they don't like the way, you know, we've done a part of it. But we feel like it's the beginning, and only the beginning right now, that we have a long way to go on it, but we know that we do have a good start and that we can continue to add to the website as we go along. That's another one of the responsibilities that Cindy Young has, is working with the website. And between the Copy Center and the website sites, she stays very, very busy.
I bet she does.
The internet website is available to anyone with modem access. Now here on campus we also have the intranet. What type of information can students, faculty, and staff find there?
Our intranet is our on-campus website, and we have information about news releases. Our faculty staff bulletin is published on there. We have places that faculty and staff can put minutes from their committee meetings can be posted there. We have the catalog, the class schedule, just information that someone might want to access on campus. That also, some of that information is also linked to the internet site, and it's only put on one time, but it's accessed from both places. And we are starting a new little section on there. It will be called announcements, and that's where any faculty or staff member can post a classified announcement. If Jennifer or Tracy might have a car for sale, then you could send me an email and we would post that you have a car for sale, or a computer, or whatever that you might have for sale on there. And it would keep down on the email that is supposed to be used for only official university functions and announcements.
With all the advances being made at the Communications Center, are there any opportunities for student internships?
Oh, we're always looking for good students and student workers and interns. We have had interns in the past, but we have not had any interns in the past 2 semesters, I believe. We had some interns that were business interns and that were able to do some word processing type jobs for us. So we're always looking for student workers, and if students would like to come by and just talk to us and leave their application, we'd be happy for them to do that. And we would love to have an intern to do some of our graphic work, or just to learn different things about the Communications Center and how all of our 4 areas work together.
Ms. Post, thank you so much for joining us today. It's been a pleasure talking with you.
Thank you.
For this edition of the SAU Report, I'm Jennifer Lewis.
And I'm Tracy Campbell. Thanks for watching.
The SAU Report is a production of broadcast journalism students in the Department of Theater and Mass Communication at Southern Arkansas University in Magnolia.